Hello.
Yes, Harish.
Yeah, Vivek, did you got the cloud connector connection?
No, Harish. Same thing. I have messaged you, right? Image not reachable.
Okay. Okay. Okay, let's try now. Okay.
Yeah, okay. So, what details you want from my side?
Yeah. 1 minute. Are you able to see the screen, right?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Administrator, right? Administrator. Sorry.
Why are you opening this one? Uh, in Cloud Connector, right?
Yeah.
Harish?
Actually, Vivek has some issues, so we are
Yeah,
first
yeah,
looking on it. Actually,
yeah. Vivek speaking.
you are okay. Okay. Yeah. Tell me, Vivek.
See, you should be logging into Cloud Connector, right? You are logging into some Feeder Launchpad.
Okay, this is not cloud connector. Yeah. Okay, that's the reason it's not allowing me to enter more than local host 8443. Okay, I didn't see it was a launchpad. Administrate password is new pass, right?
N capital.
Okay, N is capital. NEWPASS. NEWPASS. 1 minute. I'll try to change the internet connection. This is very slow. Yeah, now this is okay. I'm resharing my screen. Yeah, password is new pass login. Yeah, you have added this, right? Okay, what was the issue? Let's delete it and add it again. Add sub account. Region is region is
And
US 10 only, right?
yeah,
Can you provide me your sub account ID?
yeah, I have to log in. Give me a minute.
Okay, Vivek BTP account, login email, password.
Login email. Previously, it was asking username.
Yeah,
180. I mean, I have entered that P200 something. Is that right?
yeah, you can give any email ID. Means you can give either a email
Okay.
or
Okay.
how you created like this only, right? Add sub account.
Yeah, correct.
Hmm.
1 second, I have to log in into this one.
Yeah, we'll see this at the last. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Meanwhile, you noted down your sub account ID. Okay. Yesterday we have seen what yesterday what we have seen what is internationalization, what is I18N, and we have also discussed about the WIS charts, right? Now today we are going to move to a new concept called SAP OData. Before that, I you have an assignment here which you need to show me on the next week. You can show, you have 1 week of time. You can show me on the next Wednesday or Tuesday. So this is the assignment. You need to create an SAP UI5 application, and you need to create 4 views. Okay, you need to and you need to put a navigation between the 4 views, and along with that, you need to perform the CRUD operations: create, read, update, and delete. All these operations we have already performed, right? You can use the same OData, or you, if you have the knowledge of already the OData, create it and try to use it. Else once at the end of the OData class, you can also create an OData service, and you can perform all these operations using your own OData project. Okay, and what you do is read the backend data into a table in SAP UI5. What you do is read the after performing the read operation, what you do is you need to bind the data to the table in SAP UI5. Means once you get the data, you set a you set a named model to it, and you bind that to a table in front end using aggregation binding, and try to implement all the CRUD operations in the project. Okay, this is the uh, assignment that I'm giving. With this, you can feel that you are you have knowledge on SAP UI5. Okay, I'm expecting you both to do this all the four or 5 points. Okay,
Yeah, okay, Harish. I'll do it.
yeah, these are all the simple whatever we have discussed. You have everything in videos. If you have any doubt, you can go through the videos, and by seeing the videos, try to create try to perform this all the 5 points. Okay.
Okay, Harish.
Now today we are moving to the next course, that is SAP OData. What is SAP OData? SAP OData is an a protocol that allows to exchange data between the systems, particularly within the SAP ecosystem. See, SAP OData, we have already used OData in our SAP UI5 application. What it means, we are exchanging the data between the one system to another system. One system means front end and the back end. When we are getting the data from what we are doing, we are getting the data from the back end system, and we are pushing it to the front end screen. Why we are not directly using the backend system? We are putting an user interface uh, between the user and the backend, because a user can't directly understand the backend system, how the data is saved. He don't know. That's the reason we are creating an interface between the backend between the backend and the user. User is directly going to use the SAP Fiori screen instead of the backend system. So for in order to exchange the data between the between the user interface and the backend system, SAP OData is the protocol that we are using. Okay, it enables easy and standardized access to data from SAP system using web technologies like HTTP and RESTful APIs. So here we are using HTTP HTTP protocols. See, we are using HTTP, right? Even if you are using the when you are going to the cloud connector, we are using HTTP as our method. In simple terms, SAP OData provides a way to retrieve, modify, and manipulate the data. Okay, using SAP OData, what we are doing, we are performing CRUD operations. CRUD operation means either we are creating, updating, deleting, or inserting the new data. Create, create, read, update, and delete. We are performing either any of the four ways, and this is the standard using a this OData is a standardized and a web friendly approach. Okay, you can also use the SAP OData in any other platforms. Not it is not dedicated to only a Fury application. You can use this SAP OData in any different type of applications like Node.js application, or wherever the application that you are using in order to create the front end view. You can use this OData anywhere. Okay, and the OData stands for Open Data Protocol. Okay, Open Data Protocol. This is the interview question that they'll ask. What is SAP OData? You need to mention the definition along with your understanding about the SAP OData. Okay. And next we are going to see the architecture of uh, SAP gateway system. Introduction to OData and gateway system. This is the module one. Each instance of an SAP system has a gateway. The gateway enables communication between the work process and the external programs, as well as communication between work process from different instances or SAP systems. See, this is the architecture of uh, gateway system. Gateway system is nothing but our ABAP system. Okay. Uh, okay, if you see, this is the application layer and this is the presentation layer. Sorry, gateway system is nothing but where we'll create our OData, where we'll create our OData in ABAP system in the T code SEGW. Okay, if you see, this is the SAP or non SAP world. Means here this is the front end where we are consuming the OData. Okay, and this is our application layer. This is the SAP NetWeaver gateway, and this is our database. Okay, here the data is residing. We are create with the help of SAP NetWeaver gateway system. This is the SAP NetWeaver gateway system. We are creating an OData services, and we are using the database as this one based, and we are sending the OData request to the front end, and with the help of HTTP request we are calling the OData and updating. See, this is the to and fro process. We are either we are sending the data as well as we are receiving the data. Okay, this is the database and this is the SAP NetWeaver gateway system. Okay, you have any doubt, Raji or Vivek, in this diagram?
No,
So
Harish.
Harish,
Yeah,
in the Fieri, the latest embedded one,
yeah.
uh, embedded is nothing but
See, huh? I see.
mhm,
We have that concept as well. Uh,
mhm.
in if you have this, see, uh, see components installed. That concept is there in the next slide.
Okay, 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 no problem.
See, we have
We'll
the two
go step
types
by
of
step.
architectures: central hub and embedded architecture. In the central hub architecture, the SAP gateway system is separate from the backend system. Okay, see here, this is the SAP gateway system, and this is the database. If it is an embedded system, if it is central hub architecture, the gateway system is separate from the backend system is nothing but our database. Okay, if you see here, this is the backend system and this is the gateway system. If it's both are combined, then we call it as an embedded system. If we have this two systems as a different, then it is a centralized hub architecture. Okay, here if we have only one system for database as well as SAP NetWeaver gateway, then we are going to call it as a embedded
Central
architecture.
hub, embedded
If
architecture. Yeah,
yeah, if we have separate systems, then we are going to
mm.
call it as a central hub.
Central hub.
Okay, if we are having both on a one system, then we are calling it as a embedded
Embedded.
architecture. Okay.
Yeah.
um
But
See,
service, still service exists, correct?
yeah,
Service and the maintenance, all these exist, correct?
s- see, only the database, only the database resides, only the database means all the tables, all the data, all your ABAP programs reside in database. Okay. NetWeaver gateway is nothing but we need based on the if it has an RFC connection between the database and SAP NetWeaver gateway. Once you create your OData service and database, you are going to register that service in SAP NetWeaver gateway system. Okay, we will see this more clearly. Okay, see, these are the components that need to be installed in gateway system to support OData. To use the see, these are the concepts. We don't need to uh, learn about this is the work of basis. See, in order to run the gateway in order to create an OData, we need to have these two components, iw underscores pgw and iw underscores bep. If the net if our SAP NetWeaver is version of 7.0, all these versions, then you need to have these two components in our SAP gateway system. If our landscape is version is more than 7.4 or 0, 7.4, then you need to have this SAP underscore GWFND. Okay, all these are the basis tasks, so you don't need to uh, focus much attention on this. Okay. Next, we have the two types of architecture. We have already seen, we have already understood what is the central hub architecture and what is embedded architecture. In case if our architecture is a central hub, means we will be having the two different logon GUIs for gateway system as well as the backend system. Gateway system is nothing but our Fury system, and the backend system is nothing but our ABAP system. Okay. In case of embedded architecture, our SAP gateway system and our backend system is combined into one system. Okay. Now I want to know the server which is provided by your institute is whether a central hub architecture or embedded architecture. Anyone can answer.
I guess it's embedded
Why?
because you didn't log in NetWeaver. You logged in directly SAP S4HANA and typed SEGW.
So
Hmm?
so see, SAP gateway means, see, what in SAP gateway system, what we'll do, we'll register our OData service, right? We'll test our OData service, right? In SAP
Gate,
gateway system,
gateway
these
is
are
nothing but this logon, right?
see, log on, we are talking about log on system only, Vivek. But
Okay.
in log on system also we will be having the two different systems. If we have the two different systems for uh, uh, two different systems, like for ABAP, for database, we are if we have the another system, and for registering the OData service, if we having the another system, then it is central hub architecture. In case of embedded architecture, what we'll have is, we have only one system where we have complete where we'll having the complete backend as well as our ABAP programs in one place, that is embedded architecture. Right now we are using only one log and pad, which we have both SAP gateway as well as our ABAP system as our ABAP backend.
Yeah, clear. So it is an
Okay.
embedded system, right?
Yeah, so we are using an embedded architecture. How we can say that we are using an embedded architecture? What in SAP see, you have the two systems. It can be either SAP gateway system or backend system. Backend means a database. Okay. In SAP gateway system, what we'll do, we'll register the OData service, we'll test the OData service, we'll activate the ICF nodes, we are going to check the BSP applications and all. We'll do all these things in gateway system. And in the backend system, what you'll have you will have your ABAP programs, you will have your tables, all the data related things will be on backend system. How we are saying that our system is an embedded architecture? Because in we have already registered as OData service, right? We have already seen how we are going to register an OData service, if you remember. Okay, uh, you didn't remember. Okay, see, we have already seen how to register an OData service. How we are going to
Yeah,
where it,
you went to SCGW add services,
no, 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 no,
and then
in
you added
slash n iwfnd by main underscore service. The C, that is the T code we have used when we are going to register an OData service. Generally, this task is done in which system? We'll do in SAP Gateway system. Okay, and if we want to create an OData project, we are using SEGWT code, and generally we'll create all the ABAP programs in database system,
SC30.
that is backend system. But here we have used everything, we have done everything only on one system. That's why our server is called as embedded architecture. Okay,
Also, embedded mean you don't need any front end server for Fiori.
see
All your FLP also happening in backend system only.
it means your front end and the backend system is merged.
Correct.
Okay, in central hub architecture means you will be having two different systems. One is for Fury and another is one ABAP. In
Backend.
ABAP,
Correct.
you what you will do is, in ABAP system you will create your ABAP programs, like you will create your OData project. But end of the day, once you done with creating that project, you will register that service in Fury system, and the connection is established between the Fury system and the ABAP system using RFC connection. All this will be done by basis team. Okay,
Yeah.
now we are going to see what are the pros and cons of central hub architecture. See, decoupling. Central hub means you will be having the two different systems. Decoupling. The central hub architecture allows decoupling between the backend system and external application. Changes or updates do not impact each other. See, it is the one of the important advantage if we are going to the central hub system. Central hub means we will be having two different systems. If suppose our backend is crashed, then our Fury system does not affect, because our it we are maintaining two different systems. If one server crashes, our other server doesn't have any impact. If we are using an embedded architecture, if that crashes, our whole ABAP as well as the Fury, uh, we can't use it, right? So if anything happens in one system, it will not affect the another system, because we are having the separate systems in case of central hub architecture. And the another one is centralized governance. It enables centralized governance and control over the exposed data services. Security, authorization, and monitoring can be implemented at the central hub, ensuring the consistent policies and standard across all the backend systems. Okay, centralized governance means all the security, authorization, and monitor, all the security, all the authorization related things can be done only on the backend. In Fury, once the security is maintained, it's only important to maintain only at the backend system. No need to maintain again a security for a Fury system as well. Scalability. The central hub architecture can handle multiple backend system. Suppose if your suppose if your organization has multiple backend systems, see, in any organization there may be having multiple backend systems. If you take in my project also, there are multiple backend systems, and they are having only one Fury system. Based on the user need, they used to connect Fury system to that particular backend system. If you yeah, that is the main disadvantage in embedded architecture. In case of embedded architecture, you can't change the backend system, because the backend and the front end system is merged into a single system. If Whereas in central hub, if you want to change the backend system, you can change the connection. Whereas in the embedded architecture, you don't have that possibility to change the backend system because it is already merged. You have any doubts at this point regarding the scalability,
I
Rajiv and Vivek?
mean, mostly in companies, which one they will be using?
See, it depends upon the organization's choice. If the organization is big, what they'll do is they'll go for the central hub architecture, else they'll use the embedded architecture.
Okay.
If the organization is the bigger
SAP.
one, then they'll use the central hub. If the organization is smaller, then if they are okay with embedded architecture, they'll use it. It purely depends on the uh, um,
Company, right?
business requirements.
Okay.
Okay, it purely depends on their scale up. See, if they want to uh, in future, if they want to change the backend system, then it will be difficult. And if they want to perform any upgrade on only on ABAP, okay, then embedded architecture will won't suit for them. So these are the advantages, three advantages we have seen. When it comes to the disadvantages, network overhead. See, whenever we are using the whenever we are calling or testing any OData service, what we need to do, we need we'll call that OData service from the front end. What this front end will do, it will based on the connection of RFC, it will go and hit the backend system, which is a network, which is it will it takes a network overhead. Means there is additional network overhead whenever we are sending a request to the backend system, right? It creates an network overhead. If we have the embedded architecture, means if you have the two systems at one place, then you don't need to every time hit the backend, because you have all at one place, right? If you want to hit to the backend system, you need the network connection again, which is the which takes the more time. And if you are sending a request with the high volume of data, then again it may impact the performance, right? And the complexity. See, the it implementing and managing the central hub architecture is requires additional infrastructure and configuration. See, if you have both at one place, then you don't need to configure the connection between the two systems, right? You have all at one place. Whereas if you have the central hub architecture, like the two different systems for Fury and the ABAP, if you want to configure the connection between the two systems, it involves the complexity, it involves the additional burden to the organization, it involves the more manpower, right? If you want to configure, so it only the big organizations will use the central hub architecture. Okay, embedded architecture. So now we are going to see the advantages of embedded architecture. Simplified landscape means it is easy to understand. Okay, where if you go to the central hub, you need to understand how they are connected. What is the Fury system? What is the ABAP system? Here in embedded architecture, there is no confusion because you have all at one place. So it is a simplified landscape, and it has the good performance than central hub architecture, because whenever you are calling an OData service, you have all the data in one place. So it will not take much time to get the data. Tight integration means it is already we as the name itself tells that it's integrated tightly. Means you have all the resources at one place. So you have all the resources at one place, uh, because the gateway and the backend systems uh, are the part of the same system. So it will simplify our development. uh, it will all when you are deploying or when you are moving to the production, it's very simple compared to the central hub architecture. Okay, and it has the limited scalability. When he comes to the disadvantages, limited scalability. Limited scalability means, suppose if you now your organization is getting expanded and now you want to have a different backend system for different customer, then you can't change the backend system, because here you are using embedded architecture. Here you have the Fury and backend at one place, because and now you can't change the backend system. Okay, if you want to have a new if you are having a new backend system, and again you need to have an again Fury system, which is overburden to the organization. So if you feels like your organization is going to be expanded in near future, then it's suggested to use the central hub architecture rather than embedded architecture. Okay, you understood, Rajiv and Vivek?
Yeah.
Yes, Harish.
Dependencies, again the disadvantage is dependency. Changes or upgraded changes or upgrades to the backend system may impact the gateway functionality. Suppose if you are having the embedded architecture means Fury and ABAP systems are at one place. If you are upgrading the ABAP system, what happens? It may impact our Fury system, Fury components as well. Okay, so again that is also one of the biggest disadvantage in embedded architecture. Okay, now you understand what is the central hub and an embedded architecture, what are its advantages and disadvantages.
Yes, Harish.
Yeah, see again this is the one of the interview question you might get. They'll ask what is the central hub and what is embedded architecture, and they'll ask you to explain. Okay, in worst case they might also ask you what are the advantages and disadvantages, and they'll also ask you which one you prefer.
You prefer central hub,
Yeah,
right?
central hub. Yeah, you see each has its own pros and
Depends on the
cons.
customer requirement.
Yeah, depends on the customer requirement, and depends on the if the organization is going to expand in a future, then if you are able to invest much on this, then you can go for central hub, otherwise you can use embedded architecture. And this is now we are at the module 2, gateway service builder. 1 minute. Gateway service builder to develop an OData service. Okay, the gateway service builder is a tool provided by SAP that allows developer to design and develop OData services in SAP gateway system. Okay, SAP see we need to create an OData, right? If we want to create OData service, you need to create an OData project that will do in SAP gateway system. It provides a graphical user interface for creating and configuring the data service and its underlying data model. T code for gateway service builder is SEGW. Okay, SEGW is the T code that we'll use in order to create the OData project. Okay,
Yeah.
now we are going to see entity types, entity sets, and association. What is entity types? Entity types define the structure and characteristics of individual entities. Entity sets are the collections of instances of a particular entity type. Vivek, did you check the basics of ABAP?
No, no, Harish. I'll check
Okay.
it this week.
Okay. Okay. See, when we are going to the coding in OData, you should have the knowledge of ABAP. Okay, at least little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, see entity types define the structure and characteristics of individual entities. See, you can simply understand that entity types is nothing but an object. Okay, object means can anyone explain what is object?
Set
Object.
of data fields for the
Set of,
process.
see,
Set of
object is
fields.
nothing but
Set of
you
information.
can say it as a key value pair, and it can be accommodate only one record. Entity set means collection of instances of a particular entity type. Okay, in ABAP you can simply say that entity type is nothing but the work area. Work area can accommodate only one record, right?
Yes.
whereas internal table can have multiple
Multiple.
records. Okay, so work area is nothing but a work area in JavaScript. If you call work area as an object, whereas in internal table we are calling it as an array. Okay,
Okay.
and see, these are all the concepts which we'll use in our OData. That's why we are learning entity types, entity sets, and association. Again, association established relationship between the entity types representing the connections in data model. Suppose you are creating an entity set, okay, and you want to create a connection between the one entity and the another entity. You need to you can create using associations. Okay, association established relationship between the entity types. Okay, you can create the association means you can create the relationship between the two entities. Association is nothing but the relationship between the two uh, two, you can say anything, two objects, two properties. So here here we are calling it as entity types. Whenever we are, if you are going to establish the relationship between the two entities, that is called as association. Okay, together entity types, entity sets, and association forms the foundation of data model in OData services. Okay, whenever you are going to create the OData project, the first things that comes is entity types, entity sets, and association. These are the foundation of data model in OData services, defining the structure, relationships, and access patterns for the exposed data. All these steps we are going to perform when we are going to create the initial project in OData. Data provider class is responsible for providing the data to the data service. It handles the data retrieval, modification, and deletion of see, data provider class means we are going to we are going to write the code for uh, retrieval, modification, and deletion, updating, reading, everything we are going to write the code in data provider class. Whereas in model provider class, what it will provide is it will provide the data model, means it will provide the uh, properties, it will provide all the details of our structure. Okay, you will understand more when we create this project. Okay, generate runtime artifacts. Okay, so what we'll do is now we'll create an OData service first. Okay, here we are, right? Okay, now I'm going to SEGWT code, and now I'll create an OData project. Okay, what is this best, right? Best welcome 1 2 3. SEGW is the T code where we are going to create our OData project. Okay, so these are the different OData projects that are already created. So now I am going to create a new OData project. You can create by clicking here button, create button. Okay. So I need to give here the project description, sorry, project name. So I'm giving Z demo project. Okay. Or else we'll give a simple name, Z demo OData. Okay, and you can create a description, uh, sample or data project. Okay, and you can put this as it is. And object directory package you can give as if you have the any package you can use that, or you can give $temp, right? TMP. So, okay, if you want to don't know this, you can click on local object. Okay, see, now you have created an OData, OData project. Now you have the different four different methods: service maintenance, runtime artifact, service implementation, and data model. If we open the data model, you have the entity types, associations, and entity sets. This is what we have seen here: entity types, entity sets, associations. Okay. Entity types means if you are going to create an entity, you can use this one. If you want to create relationship between the two entities, then you need to use this one. Entity set is nothing but multiple records. Okay. Entity types. Now I am going to create an entity. Okay. Okay, right click is not working. See, if you right click here, you will see a button here. In my laptop, right click is not working.
You can use keyboard. In keyboard, there will be one button for right
Which
click.
button?
So control, function control, I think.
Function control.
Right side control, not left side.
Function control. Yeah, create. Now you need to give the entity type name. So I'm giving entity type name as, we are going to create the OData whatever we have seen in the last, uh, we have already seen in the last, we have already used one project, right? We are going to use the same table. I'm going to have this emp. Okay. Now I'm telling that create related entity set as well. So it will create entity set whenever you are creating an entity type, it will automatically, when we are checking it, it will automatically create an entity set. Okay. Now I'm clicking on it. See, we have already we automatically created emp as our entity set. Okay. Now I am going to, if I click on employee entity, you have these two options: properties and navigation. If you have any if you are creating any association, navigation properties, then a new property will be added here. Right now we don't have any association, we have only one entity. If you have multiple entities, then you can have the association created between those two entities. Right now the navigation properties will be empty, and we need to have the set of properties here. Okay. You can add the properties manually, or you can import from the structure. See, if you right click here, you have the, see, if you see here, you have the import properties option. I don't know why it's not it's disabled, but you will see all the, you can import from the DDIC structure, you can import from the table directly. Okay. So right now, we'll try to add them manually. Okay. First I'll get that name of the table we have used. What's that OData? This is the OData that we have used on the day. ZMA underscore GW underscore EMP. So I'm going to SC11 ZMA. See, this is the table that we are going to use, and in the here you have this employee name and number of days present. So what I'll do is I'll add the same properties here directly for our emp set. Okay, and emp what employee. Okay, and you have employee name, and again you have number of days present. Okay, here you need to give the key. What is the key means? We are mentioning that employee is the primary key, means it cannot be null. So here you need to mention the data type. What can be the data type of employee? You can give anything. It's not like whatever you have given in a table you need to use the same. You can use anything. So here I'm giving as for I'm using everything as string. Okay, it's better to use the string rather than using integers and all. Okay, and now your work is done. See, if you want to make it as see, you are creatable, updatable, sortable, nullable, filterable. Means if you are ticking this, means you are allowing them to create, update, sort, nullable, filterable. Okay, you can leave it as you can leave it empty. I'm clicking and save. Okay, so now what we have did, we have created an OData project, and we have also created an entity, and we have also added the properties to that entity. Now we'll go to the slide. Data provider class and model provider class. Till now, whatever we done, this is provided by model provider class, and whatever that we are going to implement with our code, that is sorry, this till now whatever we have done, that is provided by model provider class. Whatever we are going to write the code inside the uh, that is going, we are going to write it as DPC, means data provider class. All this is provided by model provider class. Okay, see, the data provider class is responsible for providing the data to the OData service. It handles the retrieval, modification, and deletion of entities exposed by the service. In data provider class, we can perform all the CRUD operations, whereas in model provider class, it provides the data model. Data model is nothing but whatever we have done here in the data model. This is provided by data model provider class, and whatever the methods that we are going to implement, that is provided by data provider class. Data provider class and model provider class. Okay, we have two. C, generating runtime artifacts and DPC and MPC classes. Whenever see right now in a model provider class, we don't have anything. It doesn't have an entity type, it doesn't have anything. But now you have created an employee entity set, and it has the structure for with the three fields: employee, employee name, and number of days present. How this model provider class knows that you have added this? You need to intimate to the model provider class that you have added the entity types and all. So whenever you are clicking on save, if you have done anything on anything change on this data provide model provider place, then you need to generate this runtime objects. What this when you click on this, it will intimate the model provider class that there is change happened on the model on the data model. So it will check if there is any errors. If there are any errors, it will throw as an error. So right now I have created the entity and I have added all these properties. Now I am going to generate the runtime artifacts. So it will asking generate class means it is going to change the MPC. Whatever changes that you have done, it is going to be in extension class. Okay. Now I am saving it. It's asking me the package. I'm clicking on local object. I'm clicking on save. See, it is taking some time. If there is an error, it will give an error here. See, runtime objects for the Z demo data has generated successfully. Means we don't have any errors. It has successfully generated the model provider class. Now you can simply go and write the code inside our data provider class. Okay, now we need see register the service in gateway system. Now we need to register this service. See, if you want to expose this service to the front end, you need to register the service. Okay, so this is the T code for registering our service. Okay, see, if you want to expose this OData project to the front end, it's important to register the OData service. Okay. Now, IWFND maint service is the T code. IWFND by maint underscores service. This is the T code for activating and maintaining the services. Here, now you need to register that service. You can register if you want to use the service in backend, then it is important to register our service here. So I am clicking on add service. Now here you need to select the system alias. System alias, it's local. It can be different for any system. Here in the system they have created the system alias with name as local. Okay, and the technical service name, here you need to give the OData project name. The OData project which we have created is ZDemo, right? ZDemo, or we have created anything? It is checking if there is any OData project with Z demo which is not yet registered. If it's already registered, then it will not show in the table here. If it's registered, if it's not registered, then only it will show up here. Okay. Why it's taking too long? Yes. Now I'll check whether the name is correct or SEGW. Okay, I think the system is slow. We have created, where is that Z demo? ZDemo OData. We have created this ZDemo OData. See, it's telling that there is no backend services found because we have created ZDemo OData. Now I'm getting on why?
You demo OData, check the spelling.
ZDemo OData only.
Yeah, okay.
Maybe I need to give here external service name, but it should show actually. Maybe because we haven't implemented anything, that's the reason it's not showing. It should not be like that, but SRV. Yeah, you need to add this underscores SRV. Okay,
Yeah,
you need to click here and select add select services. Okay, again it will ask you for the package. You can select local package, and then you can, if in real time, it will also ask you for a TR, and I'm clicking on continue. See, the service is registered and it has metadata has loaded successfully. Now you can see our service in the list. What was our service name? You can search here. Z demo OData underscore SRV. See, this is our service. Okay. If you want to test this service, you can go to SAP Gateway Client, and in the add URI option, you can mention as metadata. Okay. Now I'm telling metadata. Now I want to get answer. What is metadata? Anyone? I have already explained metadata. Can anyone tell what is metadata? Rajiv or Vivek?
I mean, metadata is structure, right?
No. Rajiv, you can tell.
Metadata is a combined set of all entities.
No, no, no. See, metadata is like a document which will provide the entire information about the OData service. Okay. See, whatever you have done till now, it will all be there in this metadata. Means it is the information about our OData service. If you see here in the if you see, if you examine this, you can clearly know that this is the OData service name, and here it is telling that entity entity you have employee. See here, the entity name is employee, emp, sorry. And here you mentioned we have created one key property, right, which is employee. And we have three different properties: employee, employee name, number of days present, right? This is one entity we have created just now. It is providing information about our OData service. What are the properties that we have? See, we didn't tick anything. We didn't tick the filter equal to false, sortable equal to. That's why we didn't take it. That's why it is giving false, and the type is edm.string. It's giving entire information about our OData service. It is showing only one entity. Why it's showing only one entity? It's showing only one entity called emp because we created only one entity, right?
Correct. Correct.
Means this metadata will give all the information about our OData service. See, whenever you are assigned to any project in Fury, what the OData developer will do is they'll not tell you to see, once he has developed the OData, he'll not give all the details in a mail like this is the entity set name, call this and all. He'll not give like that. He'll give this metadata document to you.
Can I
Now,
say metadata is one payload?
no, no, no.
Mhm.
This is the document. This is the information about the OData service. They will give you this document. Based on the document only, you need to understand what is the entity name, which you need, which one you need to call based on the need. He'll not tell you that use this entity set for creating, use this for updating. He'll not tell all these things. They'll give this document. You need to understand. If it is an employee, then you have all the properties here: employee, employee name, number of days present. Okay. See, payload is different again. Payload means whenever you are sending the data to the to the backend from front end, that is payload. That is a different concept. This is like an information. It's not related to any technical thing. We are going to consume this metadata. We are not going to do anything. This is the just for informative purpose. This metadata is an information. Okay. See, we have registered the service in gateway system. Tomorrow we are going to implement the logics for CRUD operations. Till now, what we have done, we have created the OData service. We have created the OData service, and we have created one entity type, and we have added the properties, right? So tomorrow what we'll do is we'll redefine the methods, and we are going to write the code for updating the database, creating the record in database, updating, deleting, retrieving, all these things we are going to do tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah,
What is the
okay.
purpose of metadata, Harish?
See, just now I told na, it gives,
The
see,
Mhm.
purpose means, see, now there is an OData developer. He has
No,
created an OData. Now he need to share all the information with you regarding that OData. You are a Fury developer, because you need to provide. He need to provide all the information about the OData service to you. How he can provide?
okay.
He need to mention the OData service name, and he also tell that you need to use this entity for
Entity.
creating. You need to use this entity for updating, and these are all the properties. All these things he need to mention. Okay, instead
Correct.
of this,
Mhm.
if he provide you the metadata document, then you need you will understand everything, right? Here you have the employee entity name, and here you have the property details, everything at one place.
Correct. So when I'm saying metadata,
Hmm.
collections of entity,
Not
employee
only about the
background.
entities, it gives the suppose if you have created the associations, it will also provide the information about the association as
Association
well.
also. Correct. Correct.
Not only about the entities, it provides the details about our complete OData service.
Yeah, filters, everything. Correct.
Yeah,
I get
everything.
you.
Okay.
Yes, Harish.
Yeah, at this point we'll stop the class. Now we'll look Rajiv's